This is one of the original Sobaipuri village sites that my ancestors lived at. What we call this area is S-cuk Shon.
San Cosme del Tucson, the namesake of modern Tucson. Mentioned as early as the 1690s, its location had been lost to history. Most assumed it had been destroyed by modern Tucson. But evidence of this important O'odham village has recently been discovered in the heart of the city.
We're at Tumamoc Hill. Tumamoc, or Tumamoc, means horned toad or horned lizard in O'odham. When you look at Tumamoc Hill combined with a mountain or Sentinel Peak, it looks like a horned lizard or horned toad. And when you view it from my community or from my office, you can see the horned toad or horned lizard in the distance.
I'm sitting here on top of Tumamoc Hill, and I'm overlooking the valley down below. To the south of me is the village of Wak, and to the east is Chukshon. The whole area back here is Chukshon. And my ancestors, the Sobaipuri O'odham, would have used this as a lookout for the enemy. And what they did also, when they left a lot of rock art up here on top of Tumamoc Hill. And some of the items, things that they carved on the rock, is a picture of a centipede, a man with a bow, and also back here, if you can see that flower that's chipped into the rock. And there's just a lot of other designs, like there's some mazes on here, and it's just interesting what they meant when they chipped these into the rock. But sitting up here, you can just look out and see the whole Tucson area. This is one of the original Sobaipuri village sites that my ancestors lived at, San Cosme del Tucson. This is what the Spaniards called this area where I'm at, and what we call this area is Chukshon, which means black base in our language, the O'odham language here. Wak is what Kino calls Sanavir del Bac. S-cuk Shon, that's what became the name Tucson.
San Cosme del Tucson, or San Cosme del Tucson, is the original birthplace of Tucson. Most people think that the original village was at the base of a mountain, but as O'odham, you consider a mountain, Sentinel Peak, and Tumamoc as one.
They call this whole area S-cuk Shon. S-cuk Shon, which means black base, it doesn't just mean a mountain, it means the whole area combined, Tumamoc Hill and a mountain. So this whole area is S-cuk Shon.
Here you can see the house outline. The houses here were aligned in pairs and rows. So it's pretty evident here from what we're seeing. Just to see it in the middle of this city here. And most people just walk by and don't even know that's here. But wow, it's amazing to have evidence here at Tumamoc. It's just really something just to think that my ancestors slept, cooked, and lived in this area. It's really something. What we have here is a couple of pieces of whetstone planeware. Our ancestors, the Sobaipuri O'odham, made this. And this is here at Tumamoc Hill. And it's really amazing. Our ancestors broke a pot, and here are a couple pieces for us to examine and possibly date.
This is an olivella shell that we found here at Tumamoc. And these little shells, this one you would find at the Gulf of California, the Sea of Cortez, and my ancestors, the Sobaipuri, used these to make little necklaces. You can see here that how the the top is cut, and there's a little hole where you string your thread through here to make a necklace or a bracelet. But this is a great find. Centuries before Father Kino came to this area, my ancestors lived here, and this is where the actual area they call Tucsón is here, where I'm at, S-cuk Shon. A lot of people say that the birthplace of Tucsón was over by the Santa Cruz River in front of a mountain, but actually it's right in this area by Tumamoc Hill.
They lived here at this site, at this village, year-round. The fields would been out towards the Santa Cruz River. The bedrock feature at the base of a mountain, which pushes the water up. So they were able to draw the water to feed their fields there. So those fields were quite extensive from what I understand. There were 4 settlements in this area, which included San Cosme del Tucson. And north, there was another settlement, which was called San Agustin, which brought a total to 5.
San Agustin del Hoy. Hoy means fine sand. And the other word for sand is odd. Odd is just regular sand, but hoy is the real fine sand.
And at that time, the population was anywhere about 750 to 800 people. And to the south, where I'm from, the village of Wak, that village was the most important village in the region at that time. There was important leaders that lived there. And so I'm sure people from this area would send their representatives to consult with people down at Wak.
My ancestors lived all along the Santa Cruz River and were river people. Our neighbors to the west, the O'odham, visited this area and visited our villages here at Chukshon and at Wak. The Sobaipuri O'odham lived along the Santa Cruz, the San Pedro rivers, the Ariwaipa, and the side drainages of all the rivers. These were inhabited by the Sobaipuri O'odham, our ancestors, who also lived here in Chukshon. Guvavi or Guwawi, where it's south of here, Tubac, Tumakakri, the village of Wak, Chukshon, and further north up toward Picacho Peak. These areas were inhabited by my ancestors, and we all lived here at the same time, so all this area around Tucson and southern Arizona were inhabited by the Sobaipuri.
Some people have wondered about the inhabitants that had occupied this village here at Tumamoc. Well, some probably have went to live at Wak. Some probably went to live out west. And some probably stayed here in the Tucson area, just below the base, at the base of a mountain. There is a, what they call, I think it's called Papacoville, in South Tucson, so some ended up there. So the Sobaipuri O'odham, just scattered throughout the Tucson region.